Hey y'all, it's Tyler, and I think the entire NASCAR world, and even a little beyond, are still talking about Ross Chastain. Obviously, the incredible move at Martinsville is what everyone is talking about, but it has been a long path for Ross to get to this pretty much near superstardom. Ross is a guy who comes from humble beginnings and has had to really make his way through the sport on talent and no money. A rare breed for drivers nowadays. He's become kind of the poster child for start and park success in the sport. And personally, I think the sport should be more talent driven than money driven. I don't think I'm alone in that, but it's just not how the economics work right now. But if we were to look at drivers in NASCAR who are currently driving underfunded equipment, who is out driving that equipment? Well, I think I have a list of 5 guys who kind of are working in Ross Chastain's footsteps right now and trying to get to where he's at, and are kind of at where he was, I'd say, like 5 years ago. But I've got 5 names on who I think could be the next Ross Chastain. Before I get into it, if you guys will please like the video and subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot to me. But also, please follow me on TikTok and Twitter at Tyler S. Calloway, because I post daily content on there as well. These 5 drivers are not in any particular order, so don't look at these like rankings. But to start off with, I'm going to go with a guy that I think has been running really well this year in Kyle Weatherman. Weatherman has been most seen driving the dreadful Mike Harmon racing equipment, where he has been able to at least keep the wheels straight and post an 8th place finish at Kentucky for them, which is just as good as a win for that team in my opinion. But this year, he's really been turning heads with what he's been able to do in Jesse Iwuji Motorsports equipment. You know, obviously, whenever Jesse's in that car, he is horrible. I think that is more to do with the driver than the equipment. But I think Kyle Weatherman is definitely out driving this equipment. He's been able to take this middle-of-the-pack at best team and has constantly found himself running in the top 20 and competing for top 10s. And I think if Weatherman found himself in better equipment, he'd definitely find consistent success in Xfinity. I hope that in 2023, Jesse Iwuji Motorsports wises up and at least makes him full-time. 4th guy is Bailey Curry, who has been running amazing stats for JD Motorsports in my equipment. I know amazing might be a hyperbole, but you know, this is a team that really struggles, and I haven't seen one of their cars run this good since Ross Chastain was driving them. Scoring a 10th place finish at Loudon this year, and he really caught my eye at Bristol this year, finishing 11th. Anytime he is able to go to a track where, you know, it's really more on the driver than it is pure raw speed, he always seems to be able to find his way to be competing in the top 20, more times than not the top 15, and to me, just what he's able to do with his equipment is incredibly, just impressive. Along with, he just seems like a really great guy. I really hope someone brings sponsorship with him. He's got Alka-Seltzer on board with JD Motorsports. He seems to be doing a good job at finding sponsorship. I guess he just can't really find that next level funding that'll get him into really good equipment. But he's going to be driving for JD Motorsports again next year. He's probably on the current path Ross Chastain was on. Next up is a name that all of America knows, Brandon Brown. Brandon has been handed one of the worst hands in all of NASCAR history, essentially being blackballed by sponsors for something completely out of his control. He was in middle of the pack, family-owned equipment, and now finds himself without sponsorship and forced to race in even lesser equipment. Obviously, he's a winner in Xfinity, but Brandon is always in the top 20 and competing for top 10s in cars that have no business being there. He has a lot of talent, but needs someone to save him, because unfortunately his career is a sinking ship at the moment, and I hope he can find some sponsorship to get back into 68 at least. Next up, I've got Ryan Sieg, who is also driving for his family-owned team, another of the middle-of-the-pack guys. And Ryan just always seems to find himself competing for top 10s, essentially self-funded at this point. If Sieg could find sponsorship and some more backing, I could see him competing for wins. Right now, you know, he's competing for playoffs, and, you know, on this team, I find that incredibly impressive. To me, you know, I really think that you look at his career in the Xfinity Series, over 300 starts, no wins, but 52 top 10s and an average finish of 18th. Like, I know it doesn't sound incredible, but whenever you watch him drive, see that he actually has like racing talent, and then whenever you like really realize like what he's doing like with the equipment he has, like I said, a completely self-funded team, it's really impressive. And I hope that either this team continues to grow or maybe Ryan can find his way into a bigger program and the team thrives without him. Last man up, I got Parker Kligerman, who is finally getting a big break, but I really wanted to include him because like the others, he has been driving bare bones equipment in the trucks and actually pulled off an amazing truck win this year for Henderson Motorsports, a truck team that before they won that race, I didn't even know the name of the team that owned the 75 truck. I'd seen it, but I didn't know what the team name was. Kligerman has been doing this for years, taking cars that had no business being in the top 10 or even top 20, but consistently finding himself there. I think we all remember whenever he drove that Gaunt Brothers 96 car, ran really well with that car. That's whenever it really like kind of stuck out to me, like, oh, okay, he's not just a Penske reject. Like, Parker has talent, got dealt bad luck. And I'm really glad with this opportunity at Big Machine Racing. I really think playoffs are all but guaranteed. But, that's just a solid ride under him, and I really am excited to see what he can do with full-time competition finally. But those are the 5 names of guys that I think could be the next Ross Chastain. These are all guys that, even though some of them are running with, like, family-owned teams, they're still having to grind out their careers. They didn't come through development programs. They didn't come with a bunch of sponsorship behind them. They're having to make their own way. And that's how it used to be back in the old days, and that's how I hope that we can get back to someday. But for now, we'll watch these guys. We'll hope for lucky breaks. But who is someone that you've been watching has a lot of talent that's been just grinding away in NASCAR that I might have missed? Tell me who the driver you think could be the next Ross Chastain is in the comments, and I hope you all have a great day.